77,000 islands, and every single one hides a secret you won't find on a postcard. Forget your sun-kissed selfies and turquoise water dreams for a moment. Tonight we're not talking about paradise. We're counting down the places even locals whisper about after dark. The spots that make the hair on your arms stand up, not from a cool breeze, but from something else. Ready to trade white sand for white knuckles? Because the Philippines has a dark side, and it's absolutely captivating. I honestly thought I knew my own country. I'd seen the picture-perfect beaches, hiked the volcanoes, tasted the street food. Then, one sweltering evening, a fisherman with eyes that had seen too much told me rivers could hum lullabies to the dead. A few weeks later, a war veteran's grandson, his voice barely above a whisper, swore he still salutes shadows in a tunnel that no longer exists, a place where history isn't just remembered, but felt. These weren't stories for tourists. These were local truths, the kind that cling to the humid air after sunset. So, I packed a small bag, just the essentials, and maybe a crucifix just in case, left the crowds behind, and went looking for the stories guidebooks conveniently delete. I wanted to scratch beneath the surface of that tropical paradise cliché, to find the real, raw heart of the Philippines, where the beautiful and the bizarre often dance hand in hand. What I found flips everything you think you know on its head. It's 4 stops, 4 riddles, with no easy answers, only chilling clues. Let's begin this journey into the unknown. Are you brave enough to come along? Our first stop takes us to Baguio, the summer capital, where the air usually stays a cool 18 degrees. But trust me, nothing chills you faster than the abandoned Dominican hill retreat known as the Diplomat Hotel. Its very stones seem to hum with a forgotten sorrow. This isn't just an old building, it's a time capsule of torment. Built in 1913 as a seminary, a place of quiet contemplation and spiritual learning, it eventually transformed into a grand hotel in 1933, offering respite to weary travelers. But then, the drums of war arrived. In 1942, Japanese forces seized it, turning its elegant halls into a grim command center. The serene retreat became a site of unspeakable horrors, a grim witness to the brutal realities of occupation. When American forces finally returned in 1945, the hotel's basement became an impromptu execution hall, a chilling testament to the lives lost within its walls. They say that if you stare long enough, the blood still stains the grout, a permanent crimson memory etched into the very foundations. It's a dark stain that no amount of scrubbing, no amount of time seems able to erase. After the war, a faith healer, hoping to cleanse its tormented past, bought the property, painted everything a pristine, hopeful white, and promised rest to those who sought solace there. But instead of peace, guests complained. They spoke of a headless priest, his rosary beads, clacking eerily down the corridors at 3 in the morning, a restless spirit unable to find his final absolution. They heard disembodied screams echoing from what was once the reception area, and felt inexplicable cold spots that seemed to follow them from room to room. I stood in the old cavernous lobby at 2:58 in the morning, the silence almost deafening, broken only by the rhythmic drip of water somewhere in the distance. The air was thick, heavy, and carried a faint, unsettling scent, a strange mix of old candle wax and something metallic, almost like gunpowder. It was as if the building itself was exhaling centuries of forgotten memories. Then, precisely at 3 o'clock in the morning, a distinct, metallic clack echoed through the empty space. It was exactly like rosary beads striking tile, clear as a bell, even though there was nothing visible. Every single hair on my arm stood in rigid salute. There was no wind, no birds stirring outside, just the building remembering its painful past, playing out its darkest moments for an unseen audience. By sunrise I left with a throbbing headache, the kind the faith healer once blamed on altitude. But locals, with their knowing glances and hushed tones, blame it on the lingering presence of that priest forever searching for a peace he never found. The Diplomat Hotel isn't just abandoned, it's actively haunted, a monument to a history that refuses to check out. It's a chilling reminder that some wounds run too deep to ever truly heal. From haunted halls we plunge into sapphire waters that absolutely refuse to obey the laws of logic. Welcome to the Hinatuan Enchanted River in Surigao del Sur, a natural wonder that feels plucked straight from a fairy tale, or perhaps a nightmare, depending on your perspective. This isn't just a river, it's a living mystery. Hinatuan flows from a spring, seemingly innocuous enough. Yet, its crystal clear water tastes distinctly of the open sea, even though the vast Pacific is miles away, an impossible distance for such a strong saline current. How does saltwater permeate a freshwater spring so far inland? Scientists scratch their heads, offering theories about subterranean channels and tidal pressures, but none fully explain its enigmatic nature. What's even stranger? No one has ever mapped the bottom. Scuba lines, those brave enough to venture deep, vanish into a cobalt nothingness, swallowed by the river's unfathomable depths. It's like the river actively guards its secrets, refusing to reveal its true source or its ultimate destination. Locals, of course, have their own explanations, steeped in generations of folklore. They say the river is enchanted, a sacred place guarded by benevolent spirits, or perhaps bound by a broken promise, a mystical pact that imbues the waters with otherworldly power. They believe these spirits, these unseen guardians, are responsible for the river's most famous and most breathtaking phenomenon. Every single noon, like clockwork, caretakers ring a bell, and in response, as if summoned by an invisible conductor, thousands of riverfish swarm the shallows. They appear from nowhere, forming a dense, shimmering mass, eager for the morsels tossed to them. It's a breathtaking spectacle, a synchronized ballet performed daily. Scientists might cite tidal pressure or learn feeding patterns, but when you witness it, you can't help but wonder if something older, something more profound, is at play here. I tried free diving into its depths myself, eager to experience its mystery firsthand. At just 12 meters, the temperature abruptly jumps a good 5 degrees, and the water, which was gin-clear above, suddenly turns to an unsettling, inky black. It's like crossing an invisible boundary into another realm. My ears popped twice from the pressure, but my heart, that popped once, from sheer primal awe. I surfaced utterly convinced the river breathes in reverse, pulling you into its ancient dark lungs. Lunchtime arrived, the bell rang, and the fish, as if on cue, formed a perfect spiral, an aquatic Fibonacci sequence, or perhaps, a meticulously choreographed dance by something far older than humanity. Whatever it was, the buffet ended exactly after 5 minutes. Try to overstay your welcome, to linger just a moment too long, and the current pushes you out, gently but firmly, like a bouncer with invisible arms, reminding you that this natural wonder operates on its own terms, its own schedule, and its own mysterious rules. Next, we sail to an island, but this isn't for sunbathing, this is for scars. Corregidor Island, a formidable rock guarding the entrance to Manila Bay, stands like a battered silent sentinel, forever etched with the wounds of war. This isn't just a historical site, it's a profound, emotional landscape, a place where the past isn't just remembered, but actively felt. The mile-long Malinta Tunnel, burrowed deep within the island's core, served as General MacArthur's hospital, his radio room, and ultimately, his last stand during World War II. It was a vital artery, a sanctuary, and later, a tomb. In 1945, with Japanese troops cornered inside as American forces reclaimed the island, explosions collapsed lateral shafts. Thousands were entombed, sealed within the earth, their desperate cries silenced forever. Imagine that. Thousands, buried alive, their spirits forever trapped in the darkness. Today, tour guides take you through a lights-out segment inside the tunnel. They plunge you into total blackout, the only sounds the dripping ceiling and the distant anachronistic hum of a generator. They tell you to imagine 1945, but honestly, you don't need imagination, the tunnel provides it for you. You feel the crushing weight of history, the palpable fear, the echoes of desperation. Footsteps echo behind your own, always 2 beats off, never quite in sync, always just out of reach. It's a chilling, disorienting experience. My audio recorder, a piece of modern tech designed to capture sound, caught a faint male voice murmuring Ilabas, Tagalog for let me out. This was despite the guide swearing she kept absolute silence during that segment, her professional demeanor momentarily faltering. It was a whisper from the past, a desperate plea from a soul still trapped, still yearning for release. Outside the tunnel, the old movie house, once a place of fleeting escape, now sits in ruins. Its seats are shredded by decades of monsoons and neglect, yet a projector light sometimes flickers at 3 a.m. The local coast guards, perhaps trying to lighten the mood, joke that it's the headless projectionist, still waiting for the film reels that burned in the bombing, forever destined to play a silent, unseen movie. I waited until 2:55 a.m., saw nothing with my eyes, but felt everything with my soul. The air around the hill battery, even now, smells of wet cement and cordite, a permanent olfactory ghost of battles long past. Corregidor isn't just a paradise, it's a paradise with profound, lingering PTSD, a place that vividly reminds us of the true cost of war. Our last stop takes us to the highest stakes, a place so steeped in local lore, it's known simply as the Devil's Mountain. Mount San Cristobal, straddling the Laguna Quezon border, isn't volcanic, but locals will tell you it's definitely cursed. This isn't just a mountain. It's a sentient entity, a place where the veil between worlds seems impossibly thin. Spanish friars, centuries ago, wrote of a lady in the clouds who would lure unsuspecting hunters off cliffs, her ethereal beauty masking a deadly intent. To this day, modern hikers, even the most seasoned, make sure to leave at dawn, hoping to avoid the copra's tobacco breath. A giant, tree-dwelling spirit known for disorienting travelers. Come dusk, compasses spin wildly, electronics malfunction, and the forest seems to close in, its whispers growing louder. This mountain doesn't just challenge your physical endurance, it tests your very sanity. I joined a trail group, a mix of seasoned trekkers and curious adventurers, starting our ascent at 5 in the morning, hoping to beat the mountain's more sinister moods. By 9, we reached a knife-edge ridge, a breathtaking, perilous stretch of trail, and that's when it happened. The forest, which had been alive with the chirping of cicadas and the calls of birds, suddenly fell utterly silent. Not a rustle, not a tweet, just an unnatural, profound quiet that pressed in on us. My guide, a man who usually exuded unwavering confidence, whispered, "She's listening." His eyes were wide, scanning the dense canopy above. Minutes later, we heard it, a woman humming a lullaby. It was a melody none of us had ever heard before. Yet it felt strangely familiar, echoing deep within our memories, stirring a primal fear. The sound came distinctly from above, but when we looked up, the canopy was empty, a solid green ceiling offering no explanation. One hiker's GPS watch, usually a reliable piece of equipment, logged an extra kilometer of distance while we stood perfectly still, frozen in place by the eerie song. The mountain was playing tricks, bending reality to its will. At the saddle, a momentary clearing, we found fresh orchids, vibrant and perfectly arranged in a pristine circle. There were no footprints around them, no broken stems, no sign of human intervention. It was an offering, or perhaps a warning. We didn't linger. We left hurriedly, the unnatural silence of the forest urging us onwards. Nightfall caught us just as we reached the jump-off point, the mountain finally releasing its grip. But it wasn't done with us. Every cell phone in our group, when reviewed later, had captured strange, luminous orbs in burst-mode photos, dancing in the periphery of our vision. Back in the city, the mundane world felt strangely distant. My phone, which had been dead for hours on the mountain, suddenly regained signal. And then, a calendar alert popped up. It was an invitation I never set, a reminder for the next full moon titled simply, Balik, come back. Mount San Cristobal doesn't just hold secrets, it actively invites you back into its mystery, a siren call from the wild heart of the Philippines. So, there you have it. 4 places, 4 distinct flavors of the impossible. A hotel where history refuses checkout, its past playing on an endless loop, a river that schedules fish with an unseen hand and guards its bottomless secrets, an island where the echoes of war never truly surrendered, where the fallen still walk, and a mountain that edits time and sings lullabies to the lost, beckoning you back. The Philippines, with its 77,000 islands, hands you turquoise waters and postcard-perfect sunsets, then, almost mischievously, asks if you dare to look underneath, to peer into the shadows where folklore and reality blur. It asks you to consider that there's more to this vibrant archipelago than just beaches and tropical dreams. It asks you to believe in the unbelievable. So, next time someone tells you the country is all sun, all smiles, all pristine shores, offer them moonlight instead. Offer them the chilling tales of these hidden gems. And maybe, just maybe, suggest they pack a rosary, a diving mask, a powerful flashlight, and perhaps the last ferry ticket off the island. Because mystery here isn't a niche attraction. It's the very baseline, woven into the fabric of the land and its people. You can book the ticket, you can plan the itinerary, but the story? The story writes itself in footprints that don't quite match your shoes, in whispers, carried on the wind, and in the profound, unsettling silence of places that remember. All right, adventurers, now that you've heard these tales, which of these would you risk visiting first? The haunted hotel where the past still walks the halls, the bottomless river that schedules its fish and guards its secrets, the echo tunnel where the cries of war still linger, or the mountain that sings lullabies to the lost and invites you back? Drop your brave choice below in the comments, and if you're hungry for more, if you want to explore more islands your travel agent conveniently won't mention, then smash that subscribe button. Share this video with that friend who keeps saying the Philippines is just beaches. Let's see if they still want a tan after sundown.